Mari Adams is a beast. I mean, that right there just shows how he's one of the best running backs in the entirety of the FCS. Looking at that replay, nice initial block, being able to bounce off those initial tackles at the line of scrimmage. Get off me, he says. Get off me. I'm taking you into the end zone with me if you don't get off me. Mari Adams, just a physical downhill running back. And that really puts this game out of reach for Stetson midway through the third quarter.
For the past 9 years, Fox has been presenting the Byrnes Award to someone in the NASCAR industry that shared some of the same qualities and character traits as my dad, Steve Byrnes. This year's winner is no doubt a deserving recipient whose impact is immeasurable to what the fans at home see on TV. I'd like to congratulate Nelson Hastings as the winner of the 2024 Byrnes Award. Though many might not recognize his name, Nelson has been bringing NASCAR into the home of millions for over 40 years. He's been the lead camera operator since Fox NASCAR had its first race back in 2001. He and my dad even started working together back in the 1980s. Perched high atop the grandstands, Nelson covered over 2 million miles of racing from Daytona to Sonoma to Charlotte and Indy. Just about every racetrack in America was covered. His passion for excellence is only eclipsed by his passion for racing, something my dad always loved about him. Nelson, congratulations on the award and enjoy retirement. You've certainly earned it.
Mason Sharon, have yourself a day. 2 touchdown carries, and we're not even through this first quarter. That was phenomenal blocking up front as well. You could drive a truck through that hole that he had with the offensive line. And Davidson, their run game is looking almost unstoppable here early.
Three-pointer from Lee. That one is good and one. A 4-point play opportunity for UNCG here early.
That was a grown man hit right there by Njoku. I mean, my jaw just hit the floor seeing that, looking at the replay. Hard hit right there, causing him to go ahead and drop it. This Davidson defense was struggling on that first drive, but they now have things under control.
If you're Blaisdell, this may not be the guy you want to face as they now have a chance to turn 2, but they can't. That's going to be an error against the second baseman, and run number 3 is going to come in for the Phoenix. And just like that, Elon has a 3-0 lead with a chance to get a 4-0 lead, and they do. Play at second, and he is safe at second.
Now, as you said, you can't really get too different in terms of the offensive philosophies between both programs. Of course, Davidson running that spread option offense where they run the ball 75% of the time, and that's seen in the stats, averaging over 350 rushing yards per game. That's first in the entire FCS, also averaging nearly 6 yards per carry, whereas Stetson, they like to throw the ball a good amount, especially around 60% of the time. It's that air raid offense that's gotten them to be second in the PFL and 23rd in the FCS in terms of passing yards per game. And so we're going to see 2 very different offenses this afternoon, and it should put to rest the age-old question of, do you run the ball or do you throw the ball?
Well, second verse, same as the verse. You got to remember, they wiped off the Nick Marion touchdown earlier, just ran the same play with him, and they said, QT Teasley, you deserve a touchdown here tonight. We're just going to run the exact same play in the back of the end zone because we know you can beat that Davidson secondary. Looking at that replay, he actually beat him by more than he did the first time around. Nicely placed ball by Mitchell Gossett as well. And we're a 2-point conversion away here, ladies and gentlemen, from this being a tie ball game early in the third quarter.
Pass into the box now. That one goes in! Oh, my goodness! With 7 seconds left, UNCG ties it. Are you kidding me? Oh, my! Well, very much a redemption play right there after that first play of the game where he dropped and it was picked off. Garnett, just a huge player. We see what he did last week, 90 receiving yards and a touchdown catch. Looking at the replay there, just did a good job of beating those defensive backs across their face. Perfectly put ball by Cravens, and Garnett just goes ahead, turns on the Jets, and takes it to the house for Morehead State. Huge momentum switch right there in favor of the Eagles.
UNCG, 6 turnovers in the last 4 minutes of play. 7 seconds to go now. Swift with it. She gets a screen. She drives to her right, trying to find someone open. That pullback jumper is good. It gives the Bulldogs the lead as the horn sounds to go ahead and bring quarter number 1 to a close. So it's UNC Asheville who goes on a run to end quarter number 1. They lead 18-16 here at Fleming Gymnasium on ESPN+.
Very solid drive right there by Marist. And
It was a well put together drive, unlike their first drive where they just had to rely upon a 68-yard touchdown pass. It was consistent. They were able to run the offense they wanted to run both on the ground and through the air. And what better way to top it off than giving it to your go-to player on offense to go ahead and get in the end zone. Marist, really nice response.
Trying to go ahead and put a bow here on set number 3. And ultimately the kill goes with Tillis, and they'll take set 3, 25-20. Back-to-back set wins for Davidson as they lead Rhode Island 2-1 going into set 4.
This is a Morehead State defense that has done more against Davidson than the majority of teams Davidson has played against this year. But at the same time, it's just not getting quite good enough results that it needs right now, especially with an offense that struggles at times to find the end zone. Now, that's usually been good enough for Morehead State, having their defense do most of the work. But today, Davidson, they've been able to crack that wall enough times to where Morehead State's offense can't catch up.
The grid walk. Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's going to be so much fun. I loved your father, as this whole pit road did, Bryson, and honored that you're down here with me today.
Absolutely, Michael. I really appreciate that. You've been my main man for forever, and that really means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
You want to go grid walking?
Absolutely. Let's go over to Chase Elliott over here.
Oh, man, he just takes over.
Now, we are here with Chase the Champ Elliott. Now, you won the championship series last year, and you also won the All-Star race last year. You know the formula to success overall. So what do you need to do tonight to win?
Got a partner today.
Good to see you, Austin. Now, you know what they say. Everything is always bigger here in Texas. How big would a win tonight be for you?
No, yeah, he's third in the CAA in points per game at 20.3. There's also 12th in the CAA in rebounds at 6.2. He has scored in double digits every game this season and also has 2 double-doubles. Also was a second-team All-CAA player last season. He is the man on this team. You have to stop him tonight if you're Elon if you want to get a win, because he is a very, very good ball player.
Great defensive play right there by Davidson. If you're having trouble stopping them, the main thing you could really use is a turnover, and that is a killer if you're Stetson. Now down 3 scores, already had the momentum snatched away from you. Just good job reading the quarterback's eyes. If you're Mites, you got to do a better job of not staring down your receiver. Those quarterbacks, they think they can go ahead and thread the needle with those over-the-middle throws, but oftentimes you just can't.
Close is Virginia UMBC. Here's just some statistics. FDU was on average the shortest team in Division I. Purdue, led by Zach Edey, who is a consensus All-American and the Big Ten Player of the Year, 7'4", and their entire team on average is the tallest team in Division I. We hear the phrase David versus Goliath a lot in upsets, but this was literally a David versus Goliath type game. And it's even worse for Purdue if you consider that FDU really shouldn't have even been there in the first place because they did not win the NEC Conference Championship. They lost in the conference championship against Merrimack, but because Merrimack was still in the transition process moving from D2 to D1, FDU got the automatic bid, and they made the most of it.
Allow Elon to tie this game. She hits it straight into the gap. Is that one gone? Yes, it is! A 3-run home run for the Phoenix. Allie's Shearing puts Elon on top, 6-4. Wells hits an absolute missile into right field, and she's going to go ahead and go to second, and a runner's going to come home for the Phoenix, and that throw not in time. Make it 7-4 in favor of Elon.
I just think it goes to show that if you're a second or third string guy, you're working hard in the summer and during fall camp and spring ball, and you're thinking, I'm doing all this work, but I'm not going to get any playing time. That's not necessarily true. You never know when the guy in front of you is going to go down, and if 2 guys in front of you even are going to go down. So all that work you're putting in now, yes, it's for future seasons down the line, but it could come as soon as tomorrow if one play goes badly for the man in front of you.
Ian McGeehee, career record of 7-8. Did go 2-2 in the Southeast Open to begin the season. Finished 4th in the 165-pound freshman sophomore division. And a hard takedown there. McGeehee gets the pin. How about that? A triumphant takedown that ultimately leads to a pin for McGeehee. 10 to go on the shot clock. 2 minutes to go in this one as well. Gamble, nice move there. She gets it to go. It's now a 9-point advantage for UNCG, their largest lead of the afternoon.
That pass ultimately intercepted by St. Joe's. Ball still in the box, though. They're looking for an opportunity, and they score!
Just under 4 minutes into this one, Davidson with their first goal in conference play.
So very, very great offensive performance so far today by Stony Brook. They've been dominating the time of possession. I can't believe that one, Chase. Are you kidding me? Between the legs shot right there. Stony Brook has just been absolutely amazing.
Mayone is such a solid special teams player for this Davidson team. Did a good job of making a hard cut to the right around the 30-yard line that ultimately gave him the space he needed to work with. Seeing the replay there, just plants his left foot, gets a hole, dodges a tackler. And yes, Holbrook was ultimately able to get him off the angle, but Davidson now with prime field position, what you need, especially if you're a run-heavy offense like Davidson trying to work this 2-minute drill.
Gamble now with it in the corner, spin move there. Trying to go with it in the paint, gives it to Kane. Kane, good concentration, and an even better basket. And I really have to give credit to both teams here, Taylor. Elon nearly got themselves out of a very, very deep hole. They never gave up in UNCW. Even with that Elon comeback, they kept their heads, they played ball, and were ultimately able to come away with the win, which, as you said, puts them in a pretty decent position in the CAA standings right now.
Pass it off to Bowens. Bowens trying to go to work. Bowens ultimately misses that one. Fight for the ball. Ball's now loose. And now Greensboro College with a fast break opportunity in the slam by Griffin Powell. The folks here in Haynes Gymnasium are loving it as Powell brought the boom. It's now only an 8-point lead for the Cougars. Wood again with a good dig. Karen forced to put it over. Blocked at the net, and what a play by the Spartans. Davidson trying to work it. Now they have a really good opportunity. Pass towards the top of the box, and that's a goal for Davidson.
To his back. And he could get an early pin here. We'll see if he's able to do so. Looks like he's still going to get some near fall points regardless. And he does get the pin. Only 38 seconds into that one. Xavier McKnight making very quick work. Put 6 more on the board for the Wildcats.
Coach Abel, he has a great bag of tricks, and it goes very deep. We saw the onside kick early on in this one. A little razzle-dazzle trickeration right there to go ahead and give it to Reyna in the end zone. Big offensive score right there by Davidson to go ahead and go back up by 2 possessions. Got to be impressed with how this Davidson offense has looked, especially in this first half.
Simply gives VCU a free ball. They get rejected at the net, though. They'll go ahead, restart their offense again. Nice dig there by Smith. VCU again goes on the attack. They keep it alive, and the point ultimately goes with Davidson.
Vergantino, that is game, that is series, a walk-off RBI for Will Vergantino. Elon wins. The Phoenix are victorious over UMass 10-9 in the bottom.